Okay, welcome back. You're watching The Money Show on ET now. We were talking about the mistakes that traders often make, especially in the early days. So, Kunal, let's hear it from you. When you started off in, the world of trading, how many ever years ago that was, what was your experience? What were the most common mistakes that what were the mistakes that you felt you made, which, you could sort of, if you had a chance to have a conversation with your younger self, you would tell?
Well, I think it's amazing to go and become very nostalgic about it. Moving up, that's almost 1.5 decade back when I started trading. And I've always found this very hidden correlation in between the amount of profits which you make initially with the amount of research which you put in. So initially what happens is if you try and make good amount of profits in your first 5-10 trades, then the extent of research which is actually needed for you to try and evolve into a much more a better trader, investor, or whichever style you want to follow, I think that drops significantly. So fortunately for me, I will say that my first few trades turned out to be quite disaster. And I think in that regards, the amount of research and the amount of hard work which I had put in was extensively high. And I think that was one of the key reasons why I believe that as an initial trader, you have to go through those ups and downs. If you just about go through those ups in the initial part, trading would look like a very sweet kind of a journey. But then when markets turn around, when markets try and level out, it turns out to be a disaster recipe in the making. So I think that was one of the major I would say highlights. The other and most important one, I'll be very candid about it, that when I started trading long back, I was very unplanned, highly indisciplined about trading, very sentimental about profits and loss. I used to take a lot of pride in my profits and be very quiet when I used to make losses. So I think from those kind of initial reactions, being sentimental, indisciplined, etc., I think I eventually realized that it's all about process. It's all about doing the right stuff. Trying to learn from your mistakes. Eventually, I think we've all seen every individual in the markets make mistakes. Be it even the most biggest of the investors or traders to the smallest one as well. So I think in that process of you making mistakes, all you have to do is you just have to try and learn from your mistakes and ensure that the reoccurrence of those mistakes reduces dramatically. Because the markets are so dynamic, they will keep on throwing surprises almost every single day. So you have to ensure that you don't repeat your erstwhile mistakes, whenever you are trading, henceforth. So I think that was one of the major highlights, and I think that's how a trader should. I would say that's how traders should evolve themselves. Have a very process-driven, approach towards market, whether it's analyzing markets, whether it's analyzing your trades, whether it's analyzing your P&L as well. I think if you try and remove your sentiment from your P&L, I think that's a very strong recipe where consistent amount of money will be made. So I think that's I would say my takeaway from my highlights from my career of trading so far.
So when you've made a good buck, don't get too cocky about it. Stay humble, and of course, if you lose, don't lose heart. Don't get too blue. I think that's a key takeaway. Don't get too sentimental when you're involved in trading. Nooresh, many of the individuals that we have seen, and I'm sure you as well know a lot of people. I personally know so many people who have dived into the world of trading when they've actually not even known much about the share market. But because we were in the lockdown, and because their peers were doing it and their friends were doing it, and so many people were talking about the share market, they've all as well plunged, thinking that they will learn over time. But is that so really, Nooresh? How difficult would you say would it be for a person with absolutely no background in trading to dive into the world of share trading, or let's say that no background in markets itself?
So the fact is, most people enter into the markets by chance, by being by hearing out someone or looking out at someone, because essentially we are not taught about markets in our colleges or in our education, right? So what happens is either it's a bull market which gets people into it, or it's a big bear market. So it has to be something which comes out of a jolt, or you see someone else making money. So it doesn't matter how you entered the market, and it does not matter whether you have a background into the market. The whole fact is one should be ready to adapt and learn, because the market is something which keeps you teaching every day, every month, every year. So the fact is, there is one saying which you say, you be humble in the markets or it loves to humiliate you very nicely. So the fact is, whatever you got in the first few months, whether you made money, whether you've lost money, The whole part is if you're looking towards a longer term time frame, being a trader or an investor, you need to keep relooking and being able to adapt, because every cycle is different, every times are different. So it's all about adapting to the changing market conditions. So it's not about that you've got a holy grail and you'll keep making money. A strategy which works today may not work 2 years later. So the whole point is keep learning and keep evolving.
Well, how can I let you two go without, of course, sharing your top ideas for the new Samvat then? Kunal, let's start off with you very quickly. What would you recommend? Where would you be placing your bets in the next Samvat?
So, the three sectors which I would want to eye upon, Mubina, very clearly for the next, Samvat is auto, metals and IT. So I think I'll concentrate my picks in that regard. So I'll just name out the stocks with, the potential target which I'm expecting for, the next Samvat. The first one is Eicher Motors. I'm expecting a target of 2,700 on the stock price. So almost an upside of 20 to 25%. Second is a buy on Tata Steel. I think metal stocks are in for a very strong longer term upside. So I believe Tata Steel could lead the charge from the front. So that's also the second buy. I would place a target of almost 560 on Tata Steel. The third one would be Wipro. I think after years, after many quarters and many years, we've seen finally a very strong comeback into this IT major. So I would recommend Wipro as the third buy for a target of 420. M&M, I think a stock which has seen a strong resurgence in this last 2 quarters. I believe this is charting a territory or charting a trend which is extremely strong for the longer term haul as well. So I would recommend a buy on M&M for a target of 750. And last is a buy on Jindal Steel for a target of 275.
All right, and Nooresh, what about you? How would you guide our viewers for the next Samvat?
I would look at it as creating baskets of some different sectoral stocks and a basket of contrarian picks. So first would be an IT basket, wherein you start off with the two large cap companies like a Wipro, TCS, and then pick up a small cap company like Zensar Tech and any other, say whether it's a Newgen Tech or any other technology company, any IT company where you like it in terms of, or you understand. So it's a mixed basket of large caps and a small cap. Similarly, I would like cements and a similar basket which starts with a large cap like Ultratech and Deccan and NCL. So mainly I'm focusing towards a basket of large cap and small cap. Mid caps have really done well anyways in the whole segment. Similarly, in metals, it would be Tata Steel, Jindal Steel, and say smaller companies like a Jindal Stainless Steel or Jindal Stainless SR. Similarly, the last pack is, which is where we believe it should be a contrarian bet, which could be ideally Bharti Airtel, which was a consensus bet a few months back and now has become a contrarian pick very quickly. Second one is a Tata Motors. So one, I would suggest the whole thing is, say, when you are creating a view for a little longer term period, you're better off with baskets if you're not doing enough research or not even looking at a very concentrated portfolio. So I would go with a basket of these, say, 4 sites.
Well, Kunal and Nooresh, thank you so much for joining us today on the Money Show and helping out all the newbie traders out there. If you as well have got into trading, like Nooresh said, you don't really have any formal education as such. Share market trading is not a part of your curriculum even when you're studying. It just happens to happen by chance. And you heard out Nooresh as well as Kunal on how they went about it, how you as well can navigate this world of share trading and what you can expect in the next Samvat. Okay, on that note, we'll take a very quick break, but don't go anywhere.